How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and it has been a while since I've done an actual stream. I mean, I did like an update stream at last fall, saying all the stuff I was gonna do, but never got to do because I'm lazy at times. I'll admit it, I am lazy at times, but I've also just haven't had the time to do that stuff. But now I do have the time, and I want to start getting back into streaming because it feels like a long time since I've done an actual stream. I was constantly doing streams for like the second half of 2022 and for 2023. Kind of stopped, did a couple streams back in 2024, stopped again. Really only did one stream last year, which was the update stream that really didn't go anywhere. But lately, I've just been in the mood to get back into doing streams. I mean, for a while, I've been asking myself, oh, maybe I want to do a stream again. Maybe I want to stream about movie talk again. But specifically, these last few weeks, I've just been in that mood and I miss getting back into streaming because I feel like there is really a lot to talk about out there when it comes to streaming in regards to movie talk, in regards to news, opinions, stupid things that are going on, which is also why I'm calling this common sense. But I'll get more into that soon. But overall, I just miss doing streams. I don't know how common this will be. I'm hoping to make this a weekly show where I can do it on the weekends, either Friday nights, Saturdays, or Sunday afternoons. Don't really have time during the week at night to do these kind of streams, but hopefully within that period, I can make this a daily thing. I actually wanted to do this last week, but what happened was last Friday, I was sick all day. It was the most sick I've felt in over a decade. I was so sick I had to call out of work. And while I was feeling fine during the weekend, I wanted to give myself the chance to just heal. It was the worst feeling that I've had in a while when I was sick. It had been over a decade since I was that sick, and so I just needed my body to heal. And also, I still write for the movie nerds, and I had to catch up on some movie nerd articles I was a little bit behind on from being sick. So that's why this got postponed to this weekend. Now, I know I haven't really made a lot of content on this channel in quite some time. I've been doing reviews, but really for the newer stuff like Project Hail Mary, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Send Help, Screen 7. I almost called it Screen 8. I just haven't had the motivation to review older movies. I do want to get back into doing that, though. Try to get some review series done. Hopefully, before Avengers Doomsday comes out this year, review the MCU movies I have yet to review, or any of the X movies I have yet to review. But anyways, before I get into any of that, let me explain another reason why I want to do this besides obviously missing doing movie talk and all that. This is going to also be called common sense in pop culture. And the common sense stems from avoiding the nonsense that goes on in movie talk, which is basically the scooping game. Scoops, AI, just stuff that I feel like the last few years has just been building up that has been annoying me. And I'll be honest, I'm someone who has kind of grown up in that regard to how I feel about scoopers and scoops. I remember back in 2021, even 2022, I was more open to it. I was even saying what the scooper was saying, particularly about Spider Man No Way Home and about DC movies. And at the time, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, oh, cool, this is true or not. In regards to Spider Man No Way Home, it was the scoops of, oh, is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield going to be in the movie? In regards to DC, before James Gunn came in and rebooted everything, was like, oh, Henry Cavill, is he going to come back in this project? What's the Flash movie going to be like? And I feel like I have just grown away from scoops. Like when that stuff was happening, I was 24, 25 years old. I was in my mid 20s. I'm now 29 years old. I'm at the end of my 20s. I'm going to be 30 later this year. And honestly, Scooping, I feel like, has just put a bad taste in my mouth for quite a few reasons. And the first reason is scoopers have a tendency to lie and get people's hopes up. I saw it a lot with DC where people were claiming that the Snyderverse was going to come back and we're getting people's hopes up. And it just really, I think, messed with a lot of people. And people were either brokenhearted or in denial when it turned out that wasn't the case. It's also the same thing in regards to Marvel, especially recently, because there's just a lot of things coming out that may or may not be true. And to me, I feel like you're setting people up. And if it's not true, they're going to be very upset. It's kind of like that Last Jedi feeling where people had all these fan theories about what was going to happen in the Last Jedi in regards to Snoke, in regards to Rey's heritage. And when their theories didn't come true, there was a lot of outcry. I'm not saying that was the only reason why people were outraged over Last Jedi. There were a ton of other reasons why. But you can't deny that some people who had theories going into the movie and them not coming true and being disappointed didn't play a role. And I think it's the same thing with the scooping game, where if you're building up all this hope about who a certain person's playing in a Marvel movie, who's going to be in it, what's going to happen, I think you're just setting people up for disappointment, possibly, if their hopes are up. It's kind of why I don't really want to hear anything about who Sadie Sink is playing in Brand New Day until it's confirmed, because I know a lot of people speculate she's going to play Jean Grey. I don't know. I'm not going to get into who I think she's going to play, but I also know there's people that think she's going to play someone else. I know there are some theories early on last year that claim she could be Mayday Parker from another universe, or Gwen Stacy, or Firestar. I don't like the scoop in game, because if you claim she's going to play this character and it turns out she's playing someone else, then there's going to be some outrage. You're lying to people. People are disappointed. And I don't really like that. The second reason why I'm not so big on the scooping game is because in reality, scooping has just become a way of saying you're spoiling a movie without using the word spoiling a movie. And what's recently happened, and I've tried to stay away from this stuff because I don't want to get spoiled if it's true. People putting out the whole plot of certain movies that are coming out, particularly Spider-Man Brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday. They're putting out all these spoilers of what the whole plot is, what's going to happen at the end, what's going to happen at the beginning. And it's just like, that ruins the experience. And I know people will say, well, if you adapt a movie based off a book, isn't that spoiling? That all that is true. People still want to see it adapted into a book and how well it's going to be adapted. And a lot of the times, movies based off books are still significantly different from the book. Jurassic Park is significantly different from the novel it's based off of. The Harry Potter movies do have significant differences from the books that they are based off of, even though the plot is still the same. Hunger Games, even though I think the Hunger Games movies have done a pretty good job of being similar to the book, they still have significant differences. But what we're talking about is superhero movies that are taking basis from comic books, but it's not based off of one particular comic book or particular comics. It's going to have its own differences. And these are movies that will probably have some surprise castings. As I said before, we don't know who Sadie Sink is playing. There's rumors that, there could be other characters in Brand New Day that we don't know about yet. There could be some characters in Avengers Doomsday that we have no idea about. People are saying Hugh Jackman, Tobey Maguire could be in Avengers Doomsday. I don't know. They haven't been confirmed yet. I want to wait until either the movie or a trade confirms it. Because let's just say it turns out they're not in the movie, people are going to be disappointed that two widely well liked actors who play two popular characters in the Marvel multiverse, I'll just say, not even MCU, just the Marvel multiverse, are in a highly anticipated movie. That's going to lead for disappointment. Then you're going to have these people say, well, so and so said that Tobey Maguire was supposed to be in Doomsday and he wasn't in Doomsday, or Ryan Reynolds was supposed to be in Avengers Doomsday and he wasn't in Avengers Doomsday as Deadpool. And then the scoopers try to deflect and say, you took my words out of context. I remember that was happening with, I think it was Geekosity that was trying to say, oh, the words are twisted. I said there is a possibility. And it was always like moving the goalpost more. And I think scoopers have a tendency of doing that when they're wrong. They like to move the goalposts. And there's just some accounts that just flat out lie about stuff. Like there were some accounts that were saying this was going to happen, but it's clearly not going to happen with a movie. But also, again, the thing with the spoiling, I remember some of the things about No Way Home scoops turned out were in the movie. I remember the Flash movie a year before it came out. Someone leaked out the whole plot of Scooper. I forget who it was. And it turned out that most of the things that happened in that leak did happen in the movie. And I know people are going to have their thoughts on the Flash movie. Some people don't like it, but still, I don't want to go into any movie being spoiled. I remember back in 2011, I think it was Transformers Dark of the Moon. That movie got spoiled for me a month before it even came out. What happened was someone leaked out. I forget what YouTube channel it was. I think it was on YouTube. I wasn't on Twitter at the time. I wasn't really even on social media. I just watched YouTube and would just Google movie news. I was back in middle school, high school. And I remember someone spoiled, and I can say the movie's been out for almost 15 years now. So if you haven't seen Dark of the Moon by now, I even did a review on Dark of the Moon a few years ago, and I think I mentioned it in there. Basically, the plot twist of Dark of the Moon is that Sentinel Prime betrays the Autobots and killed Ironhide. And I remember someone had spoiled it by showing a comic book pitch. I think it was the comic based off Dark of the Moon that was going to come out. They showed a picture of Sentinel Prime shooting Ironhide and Ironhide rusting. And that spoiled the movie. And I thought it was like a fake at first. I was like, oh, this is someone pulling a joke. Turned out it did happen. I remember people saying when Force Awakens came out that the scene where Kylo Ren kills Han Solo got spoiled. People took a picture of Kylo Ren stabbing Han Solo with his lightsaber and posting it on social media. I didn't have Twitter back in 2015. I joined Twitter, well, at least my first Twitter account, because I use a different one now. My other one, I lost access to it. This Twitter account, I think it was like late 2019, early 2020 that I joined. So I wasn't even on Twitter back in 2015 when Force Awakens came out. I had joined Facebook earlier in the year for the first time, but no one spoiled Force Awakens on there. I wasn't going on Reddit posts or anything. I wasn't looking for the spoiler reviews of Force Awakens. So the Han Solo getting killed thing was a shock to me, but it wasn't a shock to some people. And I feel bad for those people because moments like that are supposed to be I did not see that coming surprise moment that only enhanced the theater experience. But that happened. People spoiled that. I don't know how common spoilers were before scoopers came out. I didn't even know what scooping was until 2020 during COVID. And people were breaking scoops saying the Snyder Cut's going to be released or Michael Keaton's returning as Batman in the Flash. Tobey Maguire could come back for the upcoming Spider-Man movie. I remember like this stuff was happening in 2020. And I think scooping took off because we weren't getting official movie news. we were shut down, productions were stalled, and I get it. But even when the scooper is right, regardless of how much they spoil, it also feels like their ego just gets bigger. Take Grace Randolph, for example. She was one of the few people that was right on the Snyder Cut being released. And people kind of looked to her and was like, oh, Grace Randolph was right. But then she tried claiming that she was right about something involving Birds of Prey. It was like a statue of a body part of someone. I don't know. It was so dumb. And the Birds of Prey director, Kathy Ann, I think her name was, might be wrong, sorry, went into it with her on Twitter about it. And it was so dumb. And it's like, you got the director of a movie arguing with you saying that's not true. I mean, the director knows their movie better than you do. And then later in 2020, she had the big scoop on Pedro Pascal leaving during the middle of season 2 filming of Mandalorian, wanting out, even though he came back for Book of Boba Fett, season 3 of Mandalorian, and is coming back in the upcoming Mandalorian movie, which is coming out in less than a month. So she's kind of full of it. Luckily, these studios, I feel like, are cracking down on scoopers. James Gunn's always debunking something that someone says about his upcoming movies, which I like. I know some people get annoyed by it. They feel James Gunn is terminally online, which, yeah, I get it. Spend less time online, more time focusing on making great DC movies. But at the same time, after people saying this and that's happening with DC, you kind of get sick of people lying and just want some truth. And I think, I'm not saying Kevin Feige needs to go on Twitter and do what James Gunn does to debunk stuff. I know Marvel cracks down on things that get spoiled. Apparently, a picture of Sadie Sink with John Berthel and Brand New Day was leaked down. They're cracking down on it. But I feel like Marvel has gotten really bad with the scoops, particularly with Brand New Day and Doomsday recently. And I think it just needs to stop because I think it's ruining the excitement factor. It's bad enough that Marvel was so up and down this past saga, having some movies work, some movies that didn't work, where people are either burned out of Marvel or don't trust Marvel anymore, that they may not be as excited. I think the movies will still make $1 billion. I think they're going to be heavily anticipated. I mean, you got an upcoming Spider-Man movie, you got an upcoming Avengers movie. People are going to see that. They're going to be excited. But there's still people that feel burnt out. And the last thing you need is things to get spoiled where people are like, okay, cool, I can just wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. Why should I go see it in the theaters? I really hope, I just want the scooping to either just be brought down. I just want to avoid it because I think it does ruin enjoyment for movies. I feel like if these scoopers were around in 2017 when Spider-Man Homecoming came out, they would have spoiled the scene where it turns out that Liz's dad is really Adrian Toomes, the Vulture. You know that scene where Peter Parker is going to Liz's house for Homecoming, and then he opens the door and we see, oh, it's Toomes, and he's like, I'm Liz's dad. Like, that would have gotten spoiled right away by these scoopers. They would have spoiled what I thought was one of the best twists in an MCU movie. They would have just ruined all that. And the thing is, some of these scoopers I've noticed they're hiding behind paywalls, they're hiding on Patreon. So it's like they want people to pay either subscriptions or a certain amount to get that spoiler, to get that scoop. And it's just like, why do that? I'd much rather wait for the movie to come out in the next few months. You know, Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out. It's going to be in 3 months. 3 months goes by pretty quickly. Doomsday comes out in 8 months. I can wait 8 months. 8 months can also go by quickly. I really hate to see what's going to be like for Secret Wars. You already got people making claims about what's going to happen in Secret Wars. I see accounts that like I don't even follow on Facebook, but they're recommended, that are making claims that this person's going to be in Secret Wars. And it's like, can we get through Doomsday first? Like, how do you even know what's going to happen in Secret Wars? And they've been making these claims, I think, even before Doomsday started filming. And it's not just Marvel and DC that you're hearing this stuff. There are people, I remember, it was like earlier this year or the end of last year, people were already making claims about what's going to happen in Toy Story 5 to certain characters. I'm like, why are you even spoiling this? How do you even have this knowledge? I always wonder, like, how do these accounts even have that knowledge? There's like a Twitter account, I think it's Marvel Updates. They're really bad with this stuff. They're already making claims of what the plot for Tom Holland's fourth Spider-Man movie was going to be back in 2024. I think this was before the director was even announced. I just really don't get it. It feels like anyone can be a scooper nowadays. And when the scoopers are wrong, they won't own up to it. Grace Randolph don't own up to anything. Neither does My Time to Shine Hello. And by the way, there was a plot, not plot, but like a rumor that My Time to Shine Hello and Daniel RPK are the same person because they live in the same area. I think it was West Asia they live in. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. So for me, I just try to tune these scoopers out. I tune it out. You know, I remember when I first joined social media, there was never this problem on Facebook. As I said, it's Facebook where some of these accounts are recommended to you. I don't remember these accounts ever being recommended to me. In fact, the closest that I would probably get to a spoiler would be something like comicbookmovie.com saying, I think it's like right when the movie came out, and said, what do people feel about the fate of this character? Spoiler alert. And they won't tell you who the character is. They tell you spoiler alert before you click on the link. And if you want to be spoiled, or already know what's going to happen, you clicked on the link. And if you don't want to be spoiled, you avoid it. And so that's just something I'm just want to get away from. I won't hesitate to call out scoopers on this show because it's about common sense, and the common sense is going to be on, does this scoop sound true or not? Or not, that sounds too good to be true. And why are you even spoiling that? Why are you even using a paywall? But also, I also want to kind of use this to not go against AI, but to also call out how ridiculous AI has become. And look, I'm not going to be one of those anti AI people because I'll be honest, I mess around with AI, but mostly on ChatGPT, where I kind of type up stuff like saying, hey, is this NBA coach overrated and why? Or I do silly what ifs, like what if fan fictions, like, oh, what if this happened in Harry Potter? Or what if this happened in Legend of Zelda? But like, I don't use it to write my articles or anything else. I hate that people use AI to write stuff to come up with actual stuff. I just use it to mess around. Like, there's actual people that think that their AI pictures are actual art. That's a discredit to real artists out there. And I know there's certain people out there that think AI is the greatest thing and they're ride or die with AI. I just don't get it. I think it's pretty dumb. But there's really nothing AI to talk about on this first episode. This first episode is not really going to be that long. I just kind of want to introduce what the basis of this is going to be, why I wanted to do it. There's going to be some times where an episode of Common Sense and Pop Culture Talk will be dedicated to certain news that's come out, a movie that I want to talk about and review in depth. Maybe I can invite people on if they want to come on the show. Not today, because I don't want to make this a whole long one. I'm max maybe go 2 hours if I feel like there's a lot to cover, because there are some stuff I'm going to cover on this as well after I'm done like introducing this whole thing. Like I want to, because of the new Harry Potter show that's coming out, I want to maybe do some episodes based off the Harry Potter movies and go more in depth on the movies, what the directors did, the casting, the differences from book and movie, because I'm also a big fan of the books. I want to do stuff like that. Maybe I can do more stuff with some Marvel stuff. Maybe I can use this show to also go in depth on stuff I've reviewed in the past, but want to go more in depth on. Because when I first started reviewing movies, like when I was reviewing all the Spider-Man movies for No Way Home, and I was reviewing all the Toy Story movies for Lightyear, I was new to streaming. I was still kind of new to YouTube, and I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to spend this much time talking about it. But I think on a stream, I feel much better. And if people want to come on and talk it with me, I can. And I am aware that people that I used to stream with may or may not still be on YouTube, may or may not be still in the community. That there's some new people in the community. If they want to come on, if they're cool and chill, have them come on. I'll send links. See who wants to talk about whatever. Because I do miss doing that. I do miss doing that. Talking with people at the same interests as me, or who have disagreements with me on stuff, but we can still have fun and be respectful, because I think that's missing. And kind of just get away from what I call silly, like boycott activism that I see on Twitter, where people say, you got to boycott this because of this, that I see from both sides. Like I remember 5 years ago, people saying you got to boycott Star Wars because of Gina Carano getting fired, or you got to boycott Harry Potter because J.K. Rowling's a horrible human being. I'm not going to subscribe to any of that stuff, but that doesn't mean I'm anti-woke or anything. I'm not Phantom Menace. I used to watch Phantom Menace, but I moved away from that stuff, and I want to get away from that toxicity by saying everything's woke and all that. I can't believe I even spent a couple of years watching Geeks and Gamers and all those other videos. I tell you, fandom is crazy. I want to make this normal, fun fandom. Not a fandom where we say if something's woke or got identity politics, or if something's coming back despite people saying it's not coming back. Like I remember I used to be in the Snyder fandom. I'm sad how that turned out. I used to be part of this fandom. I'm just a fan of everything, but I also don't want to be part of a corner of the fandom that feels toxic, that feels hateful, that is negative, that bullies other people. I don't want to be a part of that. So this show, we're going to try to be a chill, fun, cool place to talk about movie news, talk about movie reviews, and maybe get into some other stuff. I keep saying I want to get into basketball talk. I've only done a couple videos on basketball talk. Maybe do some of that if someone wants to come on and talk basketball, they can. Get into more video game and book talk. Like I want to do more stuff. I definitely, because the Legend of Zelda movie is coming out next year, I would like to do streams talking about Legend of Zelda games, at least some of the big ones. I did a stream talking about Zelda in general, but because there's so much to talk about with Zelda, it's like I need to do a full-on stream. I actually did review Wind Waker a few years ago, but I would actually like to do a more in-depth stream about Wind Waker as well. That's something I would just like to do. So that's just another idea that's coming to mind on what to do about the channel. And I would also like to share some of the stuff I do on the Movie Nerds, article wise, top 10 list wise, with you guys, because I'm also doing for the Movie Nerds, besides obviously reviews on new movies, which I also do on this channel. One thing that I do that I don't do videos on is history of movies, their production history, the changes that they've made. And one of the things I did very well on with the movie nerds that I haven't really talked about on YouTube. Maybe I did when I reviewed Dogma for like a little bit a few years ago. Is get into the history of Dogma and do a discussion on Dogma. I was gonna do that last year when Dogma was re-released because I saw it in theaters when it got re-released. But I didn't have the time to because around the time I was also getting ready to go away on vacation. So I wasn't doing anything on YouTube those couple of weeks. I had gone to Ireland last year. And also I wanted to get my review of Ballerina from the world of John Wick because that was a new movie that had come out. And I wanted to get that done before I went away. So I didn't really have the time to do content on Dogma. Maybe this time I can do something on Dogma. And if anyone who's seen Dogma wants to come on, they can also join. But as far as anything else I want to cover before I start talking about actual movie news and pop culture, if anyone ever does come on, the rules are still the same as they were when I did streams 3-4 years ago. Just be chill, be cool, no toxicity, respect opinions. I know no one's in the chat right now, but if you're going to be in the chat, don't be a troll. You will get banned. I'm not afraid to ban people. I used to be a little hesitant, but nowadays I'm not hesitant because I don't want to put up the trolls. So now let's get into some topics because this is also about pop culture, not just ranting about stupid scoopers and silly AI. And actually, I wasn't even going to plan on talking about this on the stream, but I figured this would be an interesting first topic to share. I saw it on Twitter before I was going to do the stream. Well, before I came on the stream. And it's actually in regards to Toy Story 5. Now, let me see if I can find it. I know it's been a while, so I'll share screen. So let me see. All right. So Toy Story 5 is going to be the first PG Toy Story movie. Now, this is apparently, sorry if I mispronounced this, Rialto Cinemas in New Zealand. So they have labeled Toy Story PG. Now, I don't know if we should look too much into this because this isn't the first time that we've seen different countries give different ratings to a movie. Like there's been some countries that have rated Harry Potter movies differently than we do in the States because some Harry Potter movies are PG, some are rated PG-13. I'm pretty sure some countries gave different ratings to Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. But yeah, Toy Story 5, the first in the franchise, is going to get a PG rating. Usually Toy Story movies get G ratings. Now, it's not like Pixar hasn't done PG. I'm actually going to look into that real quick. There's been other movies from Pixar that were rated PG. This is one of the few times I'm going to have to rely on AI. But actually, no, it's not me relying on AI. It's more like Google because I was Google searching and the AI presented it. So I'm going to switch this out and show an actual list of Pixar movies that are PG. Sorry, my brain just like melted. So here are the Pixar movies that are rated PG. The first one was The Incredibles, then it was Up, then Brave, Inside Out, The Good Dinosaur. I'm surprised The Good Dinosaur is like, I can see The Incredibles because there's a lot of action, and Syndrome was a dark villain. I mean, if you remember, spoiler, this movie's been out for 22 years, but spoiler, Syndrome killed a lot of superheroes. And there are some some adult themes in The Incredibles where Mrs. Incredible feels that her husband is cheating on her, might be having an affair. Up, yeah, I can see Up. I mean, the beginning of the movie, Mr. Fredrickson hit a construction worker with a cane. The construction worker's head was bleeding. Brave. Yeah, I can see that one. Inside Out, I mean, the mood things, while I do feel are mature, but I don't think it was that much where it had to be rated PG. Finding Dory. Actually, I think Finding Nemo over Finding Dory deserves to be more so rated PG. I mean, the beginning of Finding Nemo was really dark. And there are a couple moments where, like, the characters get severely hurt and scarred. I mean, Dory's nose is bleeding, and remember the shark was smelling the blood, and he was hungry for blood. Coco, yeah, Coco kind of makes sense. Incredibles 2. Onward, I gotta rewatch Onward. The last time I saw Onward was right before COVID. The funny thing about Onward is that was the last movie I saw in theaters before it shut down. Gotta rewatch that. Soul, I can see. Luca, I don't know about Luca. Luca's a very underrated movie. Turning Red, yeah. Lightyear. I haven't seen Elemental or Elio yet. Wait, it says it's expected. I really don't know what Elio really is rated. I gotta watch Elemental though. But those are the Pixar movies that are rated PG. Now, there's also been some stuff I did mention before. Toy Story 5's also, at least on Facebook, not so much on Twitter, but on Facebook, based off these accounts that get recommended to me, there's some spoilers about that movie too. And I don't know what exactly is because I like to tune it out, but there's some suggestions that something could happen to certain characters. I don't know. But I'm going to put back up the Toy Story 5 Twitter thing. Just get it. You know, for someone who hasn't streamed in a while, I remember how to work StreamYard quite well. See, this is a good point that they bring up right here. Fans recall intense scenes like Sid torturing the toys or Lotso's betrayal. Like, to be fair, I think Toy Story 3 could have been rated PG. Not because of how intense Lotso was as a villain, but the toys almost die. They almost get burned. The first Toy Story's got some hidden adult jokes in there. Speaking of which, and I'll show it in this stream. You know, the first Toy Story was going to be a lot darker than it really was. Woody was going to be a real jerk. In fact, Woody was such a jerk that Tom Hanks even hated what Woody was turning into. I'll go more into that later. Maybe I'll do that right after this, so we're still on topic of Toy Story. But also, here's another thing. I guess these are the Legos. The Lego of Woody still has his pull string. If you recall in Toy Story 4, his pull string was taken out. He had it removed. But you know what? I can see them making a gaffe of having him get a new pull string, or kind of like saying, oh, what pull string was removed? I feel like that would be a big gaffe that they would do. I mean, Woody's already going to have a bald spot. I'm going to see if there's anything else. This person, Serene, says, looks like the end of an era for G-rated films. Honestly, that would be a good topic to talk about one day. Because I used to actually believe this years ago. I think it was actually all the way back in 2009. I was 13 years old, 12, 13. And I was actually wondering that for a while. Like, oh, wow, there's a lot of anime movies that are now PG out there. because Up was rated PG. Coraline, which came out in 2009, I think was rated PG. I recently rewatched it last night. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Let me check that out. I was rewatching that movie. I'm looking that up right now. Oh yeah, it is rated PG. I'm surprised that G-rated movies have lasted this long. In fact, there's some movies that are rated G that I think nowadays would be rated PG. Like some of the movies from the Disney Renaissance. Like take Lion King for example. Lion King's got some dark stuff in there, and that's rated G. I mean, I'm talking about the 1994 one, not the silly 2019 live action remake that probably shouldn't exist because it just feels soulless. But yeah, the original Lion King's rated G. I'm gonna look at Tarzan. That's another one that like I think nowadays would be rated PG. Tarzan was also rated G. I think I'm gonna check Mulan. It's another one. Mulan was rated G. There are some Disney Renaissance movies that nowadays I think would be rated PG in today's day and age. They definitely would absolutely get that rating. You know what? Looking back at also at the that list of Pixar movies that were rated PG, I'm surprised A Bug's Life. I think A Bug's Life, if that were to come out today, would be rated PG. It's rated G. I just looked at it. Darn. That's crazy. Oh, this person, Lewis Rose, says that Toy Story 1 was rated PG in the UK for some reason. I mean, it did have some hidden adult humor in there that just was covered up very well. But that's what I mean. Some countries do a different rating. So, maybe that's just in New Zealand, because apparently this was in New Zealand that this is going to be rated PG. But my goodness, Woody about to. Okay, if Woody were to do that, the movie would be rated PG-13. I'm just saying. I do find that interesting. It does make me wonder, like, what's really going to happen in Toy Story 5. Because I'm going to be honest here. When Toy Story 5 was confirmed, I wasn't really all that excited. I love the original Toy Story. I love the second movie. I love the third movie. To me, the third movie is just one of the best sequels ever made. The fourth movie, I don't love it like I love the first three, but I still enjoy it a lot. Like there's a few things I get really conflicted on. For example, how Bonnie kind of just got bored of Woody and kind of forgot about him right away. That just never sat right with me, especially because the end of Toy Story 3, she kind of was guilt tripping Andy without saying anything, like making it that sad face. And Andy, who was gonna keep Woody and take Woody with him to college, gave him up. It's like at the end of Toy Story 4, you can't help but wonder, yo, would Woody have been better off just going to college with Andy? Like maybe that should have happened, but it didn't happen. Not that that would have really meant much. But while we're on the topic of Toy Story, I do want to start doing the something that I covered on the Movie Nerds about the original Toy Story, because honestly, I think the first Toy Story nowadays would be rated PG. I just saw. I also hold on. So I just saw something on the Movie Nerds I'm going to share later on the social medias. That's why I kind of just like started going ooh ah. Okay, so okay. There we go. I'm gonna open it, and no, that's not what I wanted. I want a new screen. This is exciting. I'm going to start doing more of this with the movie nerds. How Toy Story almost got canceled, the Black Friday incident. First of all, I got to give credit to my friend Thomas, who does the movie nerds. He writes some good stuff on there as well, who has given me this platform. I just want to give a huge shout out to him for letting me these last 5 years write what I want to write about on the movie nerds. I've always enjoyed it. I loved writing back in college when I used to do school newspaper. And once again, I'm continuing to do it. So he picked this really cool picture. It's from Toy Story 5. It's like the first teaser of Toy Story 5, the picture that he picked, which I think actually captures the horror that would have been the original Toy Story. So the Black Friday incident. So I'm not going to read all this, but we kind of know Toy Story's Disney's biggest property, besides obviously Mickey Mouse. The Toy Story franchise is just so well liked. 3 and 4 made $1 billion worldwide. At one point, the third Toy Story movie was the highest grossing movie ever made until Frozen broke that record. But people don't realize that Toy Story almost didn't happen. You didn't get all these Toy Story movies, these Toy Story toys that you play with, these Toy Story attractions at the theme parks. So I really want to get into the juicy part. Let me scroll down. So people actually thought Toy Story was going too soft when they first started production. They wanted more of an edge to Toy Story. They wanted more sarcasm and adult references and conflict that was gonna appeal to the kids, but to the adults as well. Which is crazy because I think the Disney Renaissance, which was going on at that time in general, movies like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin, were doing an excellent job appealing to kids and adults. In fact, I think most Disney movies, regardless of what era they come out in, most of the time, they do a really good job of appealing to kids and adults. That's just how I think. That's just what I personally think. I mean, I'm an adult now, but even adults that I know, friends, family members, my sister, they love going to Disney World. They love Disney stuff. They love Disney movies. Disney's just appealing to all audiences, at least most of Disney. So what had happened was on Black Friday of 1993, we know Black Friday, it's the day after Thanksgiving, the day that shopping happens. It's like the last Friday in November. They screened the first half of Toy Story. Pixar screened it to Disney, but they were horrified because Woody was a real jerk that was irredeemable. And I know Woody was flawed in the first Toy Story movie with his jealousy and all that, but he wasn't this big jerk that was cruel to everyone. He didn't want Buzz completely out of the picture. He just wanted Buzz behind the desk so he can go to Pizza Planet with Andy. Like, if you look at, I'm not going to show because I don't want to get a copyright strike. If you see it, it's on YouTube. It's like Toy Story Black Friday. You can go look it up. If you look at the storyboard and hear the voice acting that was done, the dialogue that was done, Woody intentionally throws Buzz out the window. In the version that we saw in theaters, he used RC, the RC car, to push Buzz out the window. Actually, no, he wanted to push Buzz behind the desk just so he can go to Pizza Planet with Andy. But what had happened horrified Woody. Woody felt bad, and Buzz accidentally was pushed out the window because a lot of stuff happens. Andy's globe is about to pull an Indiana Jones on him. Gets hit by the lamp and he falls out the window. Woody looks down horrified. He's trying to plead his case. In the version that they were going to go with, after Woody intentionally threw Buzz out the window, the toys, first of all, they're kind of making some kind of rude jokes saying he ain't going to Pizza Planet now. And Bo Peep is the one that calls Woody out for what he did. And in the version we saw, it was Mr. Potato Head after RC tells him, and Woody tries to plead his case by saying it was an accident. He didn't mean to do it. In the version we almost got, Woody doesn't deny it, and he's basically saying all this out of place stuff. The only thing that's really still the same is Sarge, the leader of the Green Soldiers, calling Woody a dirtbag and absolute disgrace. That's the only thing that's still really the same. And then Woody's telling all the toys, get off Andy's bed. This is my spot. Saying all this means stuff to Slinky, saying he would have been donated to Goodwill if not for him. And the toys, they start getting angry. You see even Rex getting angry, who's usually timid and calm. And the toys are about to throw Woody off the bed. And Slinky, he stops them. And Woody's relieved. But then he tells them to throw Woody out the window as he did to Buzz. And that ends the reel. And Disney executives were apparently horrified. Also, Buzz was even more naive and easy for Woody to push around. And you can find this stuff on YouTube. You can find it on there as to what was said, what the original dialogue was, how cruel Woody was. And they were about to cancel Toy Story. Even John Lasseter himself called it a movie with some of the unhappiest, meanest characters. I mean, they did feel miserable, these characters. It felt like if Toy Story was being parodied by Robot Chicken. Y'all remember Robot Chicken from Adult Swim, which would do these adult parodies with like their funny stop motion animation. Well, you would have this feels like if Adult Swim did Toy Story, they were basically about to can it until Pixar said, we're going to rewrite it. Whole production. And Pixar, this would have done Pixar in. They would not have succeeded if Toy Story was unlikable and bombed. And maybe, I don't know, maybe DreamWorks would have still done computer animated movies. Because I know I think it was Ants they did in 1998. Then they did Shrek in 2001. It was really Shrek that broke ground for DreamWorks. But who knows if DreamWorks would have even embraced computer animation if Pixar failed at it. It's either they would not have done it if they saw Pixar failed at it, or maybe they would have been the ones that would have broke ground with it. And I'm not saying Ants would have broke ground or if they would have still done Ants, DreamWorks, but Shrek definitely would have. And think about this, if Toy Story failed, we would not have gotten A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars. Disney would not, in the mid-2000s, they would never have bought Pixar. Or maybe these ideas would have still happened, but maybe they would have been done in the 2D style. Because Disney was still doing 2D animated movies in the 2000s, like Emperor's New Groove, Lilo and Stitch, and Princess and the Frog in 2009. I think Winnie the Pooh in 2011 was the last theatrical 2D animated movie they did. Oh, do I got Red in the chat? For those of you who don't know who Red is, Red's a pal. Red's in Aaron World Order's chat all the time. If you remember my friend Aaron World Order, whose channel I still go on, whether it's on the stream or in the chat, I'm usually still around there. But now we got I think this is the first time Red has ever been in my chat. This is new grounds. But then again, I don't think I was streaming when I first met Red. But no, Red makes everything interesting. Red makes Aaron's chats so much fun. But yeah, nice to see you, Red. Thank you for stopping by. We're almost an hour in and we finally got someone in the chat. This is what happens when I don't stream in a while. I think people just dip out. But I think that hopefully they'll be coming back. And if not, we'll get new people. But, anyways, Toy Story almost damaged Pixar. So, what happened was they rewrote it. It took them a few weeks. They brought the voice actors back in to record new dialogue, and it became a more charming, enjoyable buddy comedy. Like, it was more clear to the audiences that Buzz really believed he was a space ranger. Red, I used to stream not all the time, but from like the end of 2022 to 2023, I was doing a lot of streams. Although my most popular stream, which is on a more serious topic, was back in 2024. It was the Quiet on Set documentary that was done based off Nickelodeon and all that. That's actually my most popular stream. But I do want to get back into streaming. I've missed streaming. I really did miss streaming for a while. And I think I finally just cracked and was like, yep, I'm streaming again. Oh yeah, the Eric July stuff. Interestingly enough, I think that's kind of when I took a break from streaming, when the Eric July stuff was happening, or I kind of just stepped away from certain things. I know some people are probably not going to know about Eric July. That's a thing that I kind of find funny in regards to when I do YouTube is I know some people from the movie talk community will watch the stuff, my stuff, but I also know people that I just know personally also watch my stuff, and they probably have no idea about some of this stuff. They probably get confused. Oh yeah, I see. That makes sense, Red. Because I try to explain some of this stuff to some of my friends, and I think they either get confused or find it fascinating. Like when I explain to them the weird stuff that was happening in the movie talk community back in 2023, I'm not even gonna go into deep of that stuff. They're just like, this is weird high school drama. And I'm like, yeah, it was. It's so weird. Back to Toy Story though. Oh, blinded! I got blinded, Braille. I got blinded. See, blinded it has always been around. I still talk to blinded. I'm glad that blinded's here. Like we're still in our little community. So, blinded. I don't know like how invested you are into Toy Story, but I was talking about that Toy Story 5 is as of right now has a PG rating, the first Toy Story movie to get it. And I'm also talking about how the first Toy Story was going to be a cruel movie. Oh my goodness. I got red and blinded in the chat. Good Lord. This is going to be interesting. But yeah, I was basically covering how the original version of Toy Story on the Movie Nerds, I'm bringing this up, was going to be this cruel movie where Woody was going to be an irredeemable jerk. The toys were going to throw him out the window. He basically told Slinky, you're going to go to Goodwill. I hope you feel better, blinded. Sorry that happened. I don't know if you saw the beginning of the stream. I mentioned that I was sick last week. I actually had to call out sick from work, which is something I never do last Friday because I was just so sick. Because I was going to do this stream last week, but I was still recovering. But Woody was this irredeemable jerk. The toys just seemed miserable. Disney was about to give up. And if Pixar didn't succeed, we would not have gotten the excellent Pixar movies we have gotten. So luckily, they rewrote it where Woody was still jealous, but he was a flawed character that was still likable. He still cared for the toys. He still tried being a leader. He wasn't doing things on purpose. Him and Buzz became friends. Yeah, there is. Well, you got to remember, Blinded. I work in a. I mean, I don't know where you usually go, but I know I'm working at school, so I probably got it from someone at the school. I think I had a 24-hour kind of thing. Yeah, he was balding. I'm glad you brought that up, Red, because don't forget when the doctor or the toy doctor guy was fixing up Woody, he was already painting Woody's head. But I think it's been it was established in Toy Story 2 by Andy's mom when Al from Al's Toy Barn, who looks like a certain YouTuber whose name rhymes with Garbo, she was telling Al from Al's Toy Barn that it was an old family toy. I'm pretty sure that's what she said, and that's why he couldn't have it. But yeah, we kind of know what happens at the end of Toy Story. Woody and Buzz make it out. Came out November 19th, 1995. Made $363 million worldwide and got big acclaim. And we had gotten Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., and all these other great Pixar movies. Woody and Buzz became popular characters. And we've gotten so many sequels. Oh my God, Red. Oh my goodness. You know what? It is true. Man, poor Woody is balding. Man. Is there another one I want to share on here while I'm on the site? All these I wrote, by the way. Yo, I'll do one on the Clerks 3 we could have gone. Oh my gosh. So here, this is on this is the next one I'm gonna do from the movie nerds before I look at any other movie talk. So one of the things that I've mentioned many times, I think on other streams on this channel, I've done reviews on all of Kevin Smith's movies. Big fan of Kevin Smith's movies. Big fans on Clerks, Clerks 2, Dogma, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob. And I recently also did an article on the original Clerks 3 that we could have gotten. So Clerks 3 has been out for almost 4 years now, so I don't think it's a big spoiler if I say that we know what happens in Clerks 3. Randall has a heart attack. It's basically similar to the heart attack Kevin Smith had in real life. And he's reflecting on his life, and he wants to make a movie about his life, which is basically his life working at the Quick Stop. And we had gotten this hilarious comedy that was also very sad because Dante's also going through it with losing Becky and all this other sad stuff. But the original version of Clerks 3 that we could have gotten was going to happen in the 2010s. He wanted to do it back in 2012, but it was really hard because Clerks was still owned. The rights to these characters, I think, were owned by the Weinstein Company because the Weinstein Company did Clerks 2. And apparently there were these audits going on to make sure that people were getting paid the money that they were due. And I think also Kevin also had a fallout with Harvey back in 2008, Harvey Weinstein, because Zack and Miri bombed, and Harvey Weinstein likes to blame other people when his movies don't fail. See, even before Harvey Weinstein was outed as a monster, he was still known as a bully that just got on people's nerves and would try to gyp them out of their money. So, but he wanted to do Clerks 3 for a while. And the original script, if you saw Jay and Silent Bob reboot, it was going to be similar to the beginning of Jay and Silent Bob reboot when Jay and Silent Bob get arrested for some kind of drug bust. We also saw Dante got arrested, but Randall wasn't in the scene. It was just Dante, Jay, and Silent Bob, although Dante was trying to rat Randall out. But in this version of Clerks 3, it was the same thing Jay and Silent Bob reboot. But this was actually going to happen during Hurricane Sandy. If you recall, Hurricane Sandy had hit the East Coast. It hit New York City, New Jersey, hit it pretty badly. And what would happen was that the Quick Stop was going to get destroyed. If you saw Clerks 2, you know the Quick Stop got destroyed in that movie. It went on fire. And apparently Randall has a mental breakdown because Randall's very passionate about the Quick Stop. And he decides he's going to go wait in line for Ranger Danger. Ranger Danger is basically the superhero equivalent. Like, they're basically the Marvel, like similar to the Marvel heroes at the time. And this is being pinned when superhero movies are very popular. Avengers made a ton of money at the box office. Dark Knight Rises did. But the thing is that Ranger Danger was going to come out not for another year. So people are waiting online for this movie. And Randall just basically comes up with his own bodega that's like a mini Quick Stop. And he basically becomes an unofficial mayor of this small town that he's making. And all that. Now, apparently him and Dante, I didn't cover this in the article, but him and Dante have a fallout at some point in the movie. And during the movie, it's revealed Dante has cancer. And like in the original Clerks 3, Becky was going to get killed off screen, but it was going to be darker. Apparently, she was going to get killed by a burglar that was trying to break into the Quick Stop, which actually would have been a nod to the alternate ending of the first Clerks, where the original ending before it was changed was going to have Dante at the end get shot and killed by someone robbing the Quick Stop. And that's also referenced in Clerks 3 when Randall's trying to like rewrite history with Dante and the Quick Stop at one scene. I'm waiting for Mallrats 2 as well, Red. Listen, Mallrats is one of my favorite comedies. I'm still waiting for a sequel on that. And unfortunately, rest in peace, Shannon Daughtery. Rest in peace. You know, for those who don't know, she plays Renee, Brody's girlfriend in Mallrats. But back to this. But unlike the version of Clerks 3 that we got, which also killed off Dante and Becky's unborn child, the daughter was going to be alive in this movie. But apparently there were rumors that she was going to be a hockey prodigy, that she was going to be a death. But I don't think anything was really ever confirmed. I really don't know how true that is. So the third act was going to cover the premiere of the Ranger Danger movie. But what was going to happen was masked gunmen were going to show up in the theater and start shooting the theater up. And apparently this was going to be like some kind of message on society as a whole. If you recall back in 2012, The Dark Knight Rises, that one of the theaters, there was a shooting at the premiere, which it was a tragedy that happened. And I think they were going to do something similar with Ranger Danger. And the third act was going to have Dante protecting his daughter, and he gets shot and he's dying in his daughter and Randall's arms. And Randall would adopt Dante's daughter. There's also, did I mention it in here? Oh, yeah, I did. There's also rumors that Randall could have a love interest in the movie. And apparently this script did not sit right with the stars, particularly Jeff Anderson. And some people may not realize this, but Jeff Anderson was not even going to return as Randall in Clerks 2 until he finally said, okay, I'll just do it. And he wasn't impressed at first until he finally got impressed. So he basically didn't return, and the movie got canceled in 2017 before Kevin had the heart attack and decided to go with the heart attack angle. And honestly, I'm kind of glad they didn't go this route, because this feels like something that probably you could have maybe done in a Jay and Silent Bob movie, like for a hilarious third act if you made it hilarious. Also feels like something you could have done in the third act of a Dogma movie because Dogma is the more violent, action packed part of the View Askew universe. But Jeff felt like Clerks 2 ended everything perfectly. And I didn't really cover it that much in here, but basically, Jeff Anderson got screwed when it came to Clerks 2. Kevin Smith had to pay him with his own money because the Weinstein Company wasn't just paying people. And even Brian O'Halloran, who plays Dante and is always willing to come back, didn't feel like this was the right approach. Kevin, though, was glad that that version was never made. And, we had the heart attack, decides to change it up. Jeff Anderson is confirmed to be on board for it on October 1st, 2019. I think that was around the time Jay and Silent Bob reboot came out. And then they start filming in 2021. I don't know if it would have came out sooner if COVID didn't happen. I don't know, because these confirmations were also happening before COVID. And Blinded and Red, I don't know if you guys were watching the beginning, but I was kind of like talking about how horrible Scoopers were before, like Daniel RPK, My Time to Shine Hello, and kind of saying how Scoopers have ruined movie talk. I don't know if any of you guys agree with that Scoopers have ruined things, because I just think it's made things less exciting. Let me see, like, if there's any other topics to talk about. So that would have been Clerks 3. Let's see what else there is to talk about. By the way, if anyone follows sports right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers Toronto Raptors game is going on. It's fourth quarter. Toronto's leading by 4. Now they're leading by 6. Someone just made a basket. Anyone got any thoughts on the NBA playoffs that they want to share? I know last night the Knicks tied things up with the Hawks. Minnesota's down 3. They're up 3-1. Sorry, Minnesota's up 3-1. Nikola Jokic looking angry as ever at Jaden McDaniels. But Anthony Edwards is going to be out for a couple of weeks. So, see, yeah. I just don't get people I don't get people that's not simp. I'm not going to say simp, but people that take their word as gospel. Like, the thing is with My Time to Shine Hello is that they have an obvious bias. They have such an obvious bias for and against things. Like, they basically want money for scoops at this point, and I'm going to show proof of that. This isn't going to have any scoop on it. Let me find it. By the way, yeah, they're about to sweep Houston. Yo, Kevin Durant about to announce he wants to go to another team. Yo, the Kevin Durant burner account thing is so bizarre. Yeah, like right here, Crazy Marvel Scoop now up for my subs. So in reality, the scooping game, yeah, they're grifters. This is all for money that these people are doing. They want money just so they can spoil movies for people. I think scooping has really took out the enjoyment of stuff. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at this right now. My Time to Shine Hello. I don't know how true this is. They're claiming that they leaked that Zendaya was going to be playing Shrek and Fiona's daughter and that they forced DreamWorks to reveal it with the first teaser. And apparently, they're the reason why that they delayed the film. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I don't know if I want to share this, but yo, My Time to Shine Hello's ego is so big. They're trying to claim that they're the reason why Shrek 5's plot is changing. I just saw this. I didn't even see this. See, like I think he should just stay with the team and retire. Honestly, I'm so glad the New York Knicks didn't get Kevin Durant. I mean, look, I'm a Knicks fan. We got our own problems. We got to deal with. We should have swept the Atlanta Hawks. The fact that we're tied 2-2 with them in this series is kind of mind-boggling. Hopefully, they can pull it out. But good lord, I think we dodged a bullet not getting Durant. I think we really did. I mean, the Houston Rockets problems. Before I get back into My Time to Shine, hello, the Rockets problems go beyond Kevin Durant and his burner accounts, and certain guys not playing like Segun. Fred VanVleet went out. They never got a point guard. They could have gotten a point guard that's usually a backup that would have been good enough to start, like Dennis Schroeder, or if you're paying attention to the Knicks Hawks series, CJ McCollum has been playing out of his mind so well for the Atlanta Hawks. They could have gotten him, and at the very least, like they could have gotten him just in the point guard spot, and he could have helped the scoring problem that they clearly have without Kevin Durant. They outside Kevin Durant, they stink shooting the three ball, but they didn't do that. So I'm looking at My Time to Shine hello. Like I gonna have to share this. I don't want to share, but I might have to. Just so you can see the proof. So My Time to Shine hello is claiming that because they leaked Zendaya was going to star as Shrek and Fiona's daughter, that it forced DreamWorks to reveal it with the first teaser. And apparently, My Time to Shine hello leaked the plot, and they delayed the movie to change it. And now they're going to reveal the original story for Shrek 5 and reveal the updated plot because I don't believe they dare delay and change it again. This person is a real piece of work. My Time to Shine hello is a real piece of work. That's why I call them My Time to Karen hello, or My Karen to Shine hello, because they do stupid stuff like this. And I'm going to look in the comment section real quick. Someone named Dan says, bro really thinks his tweet delayed Shrek 5 and forced the teaser. We're all just living in your leak timeline now. You really think your leak made DreamWorks delay and change Shrek 5? You didn't leak the plot. Some random dude on TikTok guessed it. I'm not going to show that. Yeah, okay. Someone thinks they're much more important than they actually are. You sit on a throne with lies. Look out, guys. We got a grade A Shrek 5 leaker badass over there. DreamWorks is trembling. Oh my, yo, the ego on My Time to Shine hello is really funny. It's so funny. Like they really take these people's word as gospel. Like some of these scoopers really want to believe they are more important than they really are. Yeah, so I I I honestly don't know, Red. I don't know if you also heard what I mentioned earlier before. There months ago, people were claiming that My Time to Shine Hello and Daniel RPK are the same person because they both like if you look at their location, I'm gonna find their location. So when it comes to people on Twitter, can you still when you do the about this account, so it tells you where the account's based in. So My Time to Shine Hello is based in West Asia. Now, Daniel RPK is also based in West Asia. So there's a genuine belief by some people. And someone, I forget who it was. Uh, I don't know how long it's going to take to find it, so I don't even know if I should look for it. There's a genuine belief that Daniel RPK and My Time to Shine Hello are the same person. I used to find it funny when someone from the Snyder fandom, I'm not going to mention their name because I don't want to give them attention. Don't want to open that can of worms again. I remember a few years ago, someone from the Snyder fandom was claiming that My Time to Shine Hello was really Grace Randolph. But now there's a new claim that Daniel RPK and My Time to Shine Hello are the same person. I'm not even bullshitting. This is actually a belief that people have. But apparently there's actual proof about it. Before I continue on with My Time to Shine Hello's delusions, let me see if I can find that. I'm going to look for it real quick. I know because I feel like I shared it once as well. Oh, by the way, if anyone wants an update on the Cleveland Toronto series, now it's the game is tied at 74-74. I don't know if I can find it, but there's someone put it out there that Daniel RPK and My Time to Shine Hello were the same person. It was actually kind of funny. Well, I can't find the tweet, but I know there's people out there that are saying they're the same person. Jeff Snyder's another one that's problematic. Don't care too much about him either. He's like one of those people that like doubles down and tries to claim that like I'm right, I was right. How dare you kind of people. I don't know. Maybe in a future stream, I'll find it by then and share it, but I can't find it. Um, Instead, I will show what My Time to Shine Hello claims is the original plot for Shrek 5. Because this is just bizarre and this feels like fan fiction. All right, let's see. By the way, this isn't a spoiler because this is supposedly the original version, so don't worry. But basically, My Time to Shine Hello claims the original version of Shrek 5 begins after the end of Shrek. Lord Farquaad, after being swallowed by dragon, discovers a magical object inside her stomach just before being digested. And when he touches it, he's transported into the real world and lives for years and becomes the owner of a universal style theme park centered around Shrek. Oh my gosh, this sounds so dumb. And meanwhile, far, far away, Shrek's daughter Felicia is preparing to attend Magic College. She's practicing her spells and is trying to impress her dad, who keeps brushing her off in an attempt to prove she'll be a great. What? This don't make sense at all, this plot. Like, this does not. They're ogres. Like, they're ogres. Why are they. She trying to impress Shrek with magic? This sounds so cliche as well. But here's the thing. I feel like Shrek. I feel like Shrek at this for his faults, Shrek has shown that he is a loving dad. I doubt that Shrek would be like, oh, you can't impress me without your magic kind of thing. So apparently, when she's trying to prove it, her, Shrek, and Donkey are sent to the real world. I am assuming Fiona's not going to have that big of a role. And they run into Farquaad. This is just bizarre. I'm going to take a look before I scroll down because I don't want to. Oh my gosh. And then they're complaining, saying, holy shit, the proposed community note by AI is so stupid. No shit, it's not verified. It's a scoop. And I've proven my sources on Shrek 5 are good considering the directors of the film themselves mentioned my leaks. Who mentioned your leaks? I made it up, source. Yes, they sound so insecure. That's another thing about these scoopers that needs to be called out. These scoopers are very insecure when they are called out for their crap. I refuse to believe this was ever remotely real. Sounds like a joke. You just made that up. Yes. They made this stuff up. But the thing is, I look at some of these people and they actually think that My Time to Shine Hello broke new ground. No, they did not. No, they did not. And apparently, now My Time to Shine Hello is making some kind of claim. I'm not going to reveal it, but they're claiming that of a new setting. I'm not going to reveal what the new setting is, but good lord, why do you feel the need to always spoil stuff? You are not that high of a name, and all these people actually believe your nonsense. They believe their nonsense. Oh, and here's them defending their claim. To those saying I'm a narcissist and making this all about me, let me clarify. What I meant is they changed the plot because people didn't like the idea of Shrek going to the real world, and the only reason people even knew about that idea in the first place because I told you about it. That's all I'm saying. You are a narcissist. You're claiming that you are taking ownership for this coming out. You are showing full on narcissism. My Time to Shine Hello is a full on narcissist. You claim because Game Rant talked about you that it's true. No, it's not. You love to spoil everything, whether it's true or not. You are. Yes. Yes, Red. Whoever the hell My Time to Shine Hello really is, if they're Daniel RPK, I don't even know. They are a full on narcissist. At least the My Time to Shine Hello side. I don't think I've seen Daniel RPK, who I have problems with because of their scooping. I don't think Daniel RPK doubles down on this. I think when Daniel RPK is wrong or is called out, they're either like, okay, whatever, or just ignore. They know to keep their mouths quiet. The problem is that people like Jeff Schneider in My Time to Shine Hello, they sound so insecure when they are called out. Like, they just sound mentally weak. And by the way, they clearly have a bias because this is something that they posted like last night. Do you want Zack Snyder to direct the Justice League sequel? This person, like, I remember when the Flash movie came out and they were just doing all they can to just crap on the movie. And yes, I know the Flash movie wasn't that good. It did not age that well. And it's definitely got a lot of flaws. But the way you were making it seem like you clearly showed your bias before that movie even came out. I want to see what the comments are to this, honestly. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, a lot of people that are want this to continue. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. Another thing that they did. So, I think yesterday they retweeted it, but they retweeted a post from April 24th on everything you know about profitable sports betting. So they also have a thing where they're encouraging sports betting. Oh my gosh. Oh my, and someone also called out My Time to Shine on another stupid thing. So My Time to Shine Hello sharing gifts of Avengers Infinity War. It's the scene where Thor's like taking down Thanos' army, just destroying all the ships. And they're like, holy shit, why don't I remember that? Someone, first thing they posted is posted the same shit, posted the same thing a year ago. Shameless. Yeah, like they posted this last year on April 12th, 2025. Why don't I remember that? Yo, for someone that scoops Marvel movies, you clearly have a problem where you forget stuff. Oh, someone also put out this comment. Because you're busy spraying fake news about Avengers Doomsday. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad other people see the bull crap of my time to shine hello and all these so-called scoopers. Thank goodness. I think that's enough dunking on my time to shine hello. See there's anything. Oh, so for any basketball fans, no, that's not it. Where is it? So for any basketball fans out there, Kevin Durant is expected to miss game 4 versus the Lakers. Oof. So read all that stuff. If you're still in the chat, all that stuff you're saying about Lakers are really about to sweep Houston looks more likely tonight because without KD, they ain't got no chance. Yep. Shams Charania. Yo, Shams really, while we're on the topic of basketball, Shams Charania's really got some kind of beef with Giannis, I feel like. Because there's this weird thing going on where Giannis, so the Milwaukee Bucks didn't make the playoffs this year. We've had the Giannis trade rumors for like a year. And apparently, they just hired a new coach. Yeah, but here's the thing. I trust Woj more than Shams. Woj was the guy. Shams, the thing is with Shams gives me a bit of a Jeff Schneider, my time to shine hello vibe, Grace Randolph vibe, where he's like really doubling down on his basketball scoops of like, oh, Giannis wants out or something like that. And look, I think Giannis is probably going to get traded at some point. But I'm waiting for Giannis to confirm it. I always say it's not happening until the player demands it. And apparently Shams took it the wrong way when Doc Rivers made a joke about Giannis wanting to trade Shams for the celebrity game. So apparently Shams is trying to make a claim that they hired Taylor Jenkins without Giannis's input. But Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks also claims that did not happen, that they did get Giannis's input, or Giannis did meet with Jenkins in the organization. So Sean Wright, I don't know how reliable Sean Wright is, but Sean Wright claimed that the Bucks plan to have Giannis meet with Taylor Jenkins in Milwaukee in the coming days. Now, for those who don't know, Taylor Jenkins was apparently an assistant to Mike Budenholzer when Budenholzer was coaching the Bucks. I think it was the first year. That was the year they won 62 or 60 games, and Giannis won his first MVP. That was the first time the Bucks had the best record under Giannis as well. And Taylor Jenkins also changed the culture of Memphis before he ultimately got fired, and John Moran kind of ruined everything. We'll see. Here's the thing. Giannis. So this is how I feel like this is going to play out. Giannis is going to probably tell the Bucks what team he would want to go on, because whatever team he's going to join is most likely going to be the team he signs a long-term deal with. I mean, that would be interesting. A Luka Giannis duo, that would be interesting. Because Giannis can sign another max extension this October. And the rumor is that if he doesn't sign the extension, then the Bucks will feel more comfortable trading him. Now, ultimately, he'd be a free agent after the next season if he doesn't sign this extension. So I can see Giannis telling the Bucks, if he does want to be traded, this is the team that I want to be traded to, and this is the team he wants to play with. So if he wants to go to the Lakers, he can say, make me a Laker. If he wants to go to the Knicks, say, make me a Knicks. Now, I think the Lakers and the Knicks, I feel they're going to have to probably get another team involved, because Milwaukee's going to want young assets. Milwaukee's going to want young assets. They're probably going to want young players. They're probably going to want draft picks, because they got basically no draft picks these next few years. And they're going to probably want that young talent because they're going to be rebuilding. Because I'm going to use the Knicks as an example. If, let's say, he wants to go to the Knicks, most likely Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be the guy that gets traded. But I don't think Milwaukee would want to keep Cat. They're going to want young talent. So I feel like they're going to probably get another team involved, maybe like a Houston Rockets. I think Houston's going to have a very interesting offseason, assuming they get swept tonight. Because a scenario that I've been teasing is a three-way trade between Houston, the Knicks, and the Bucks. Because, there were some people that after the Knicks were down 2-1, people on Twitter were saying, bring on Giannis. Giannis is going to join the Knicks now. When are they going to trade for Giannis? An idea I was possibly teasing would be a three-way trade where the Knicks, if Giannis wants to go in the Knicks and the Knicks go for Giannis, Giannis goes to the Knicks, Karl-Anthony Towns goes to the Rockets, and Alfred Sengun goes to the Bucks. The Bucks get Houston's draft picks and Sengun, who is a young rising all-star. Cat goes to Houston, where he's on a team that's at least contending. And maybe him and Kevin Durant could be a fit because Cat can shoot the ball well. And then Giannis goes to New York. According to Shams, and I think Brian Windhorst, Giannis almost got traded to the Knicks this summer. I don't know how true that is. According to James Dolan, that was never the case. But then again, Dolan could be lying, because Dolan claims that the Knicks roster is good enough to win a championship. I'm a Knicks fan. I don't think that's the case. I think they're good enough to make a deep playoff run, but I don't think they can make it. I mean, they beat Boston last year, so maybe they can beat them again. I don't think Boston's not as deep as they were last year, but they got to get past the Hawks first. They still got to win 2 more games against the Hawks. Don't know what's going on with Detroit. They're down 2-1 against the Orlando Magic. So we'll have to wait and see with that. But Giannis was almost a New York Knick, according to them. I don't know how true that is. So if Giannis wants to go to the Knicks, he's got to flat out say, I want to go to the Knicks. If I want to go to the Lakers, just got to say, I want to go to the Lakers. If he wants to go to Minnesota, because I think Minnesota was in the running for Giannis before the trade deadline, he's got to say, I got to go Minnesota. But it's also the same thing if you do Minnesota. Giannis would have to, if Giannis wants to go to Minnesota, they're probably going to get another team like, let's say, Houston involved. where I think they'll either trade Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and one of those guys goes to Houston where the team's still contending. Segun still goes to Milwaukee, and Giannis is in Minnesota with Anthony Edwards and whoever is left. Now, again, I don't know what's going to happen because they got Taylor Jenkins now there. Is it possible Giannis stays? It depends if Milwaukee can make moves, but Milwaukee is limited right now. They limited themselves by trading their draft picks to get Drew Holiday and then to get Dame Lillard. They no longer have those guys. I know some people are joking, saying, well, maybe Ja Morant pushes to get traded to Milwaukee and they do a Giannis thing. The thing is, Ja Morant has not been that good lately. The Memphis Grizzlies didn't make the playoffs. Ja is probably more injury prone than Giannis at this point as well. Do you really want to have two injury prone all-stars? Giannis at age 31 is having all these leg problems. Ja's been in and out. Like, I'm looking at ESPN stats right now. Ja Morant only played 20 games last season and only averaged 19.5 points per game. Yeah, he doesn't fit the Euro offense style that Memphis is running. I feel like ever since Taylor Jenkins got fired, he has not been playing all that well. I'm going to look at his stats from last season. So Ja Morant last year in 50 games averaged 23.2 points per game. I'm going to put it up there. So this was like a year ago. He averaged 23.2 points per game. So Ja Morant, I mean, if he's healthy, he can probably still play well. He probably could be a good second option to Giannis. But the thing is, does Giannis want to play for someone who doesn't really have the maturity? Ja Morant, he's not like Drew Holiday and Dame Lillard where he's not as mature as those guys. Like, you can say what you want to say about, Dame being inconsistent at times, Drew not being all that great offensively. They're definitely more grown up than Ja Morant, not just because they're older, but they don't get into the hijinks that Ja Morant gets into. Like, remember the year before this, the 2023-2024 season, he got suspended for, I think it was like the first 25 games of the season because he had once again gotten in trouble with showing a gun on an Instagram live stream or some kind of live stream. He got in trouble for that and he got suspended. And I know he got hurt later in the season. I want to see how many games he did play last year because he did get hurt at some point. So the year before, he only played 9 games because he got suspended for like the first 25 games. He played in 9 games before he got hurt. He was averaging 25 points per game. So, last 2 seasons, he was averaging between 23 and 25, like around 24 points per game. So maybe if he goes back to Taylor Jenkins, maybe he can fit. Maybe this is the guy that Giannis wants. But Giannis also has to demand that. The thing is, Giannis has to make demands. Oh my gosh, Red. Giannis has to demand the stuff. If Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee, he also has to demand to the Bucks, listen, I want to stay in Milwaukee, but you need to give me guys that will help me win and get back into the East. The East is getting competitive. The East is going competitive. It's not just the Detroit Pistons that are rising up. Boston's still there. New York is still there. Cleveland, the Raptors are coming up. Even though the Hornets lost in the play-in, they're coming up. Orlando's coming up. Like, teams are improving. They're bulking their rosters. Philly's still going to be there regardless of Joel Embiid's health because they still got Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. So if I'm Giannis, I would say, listen, I want to stay in Milwaukee, but if you don't get me some help this offseason, I'm not signing that contract. If he just wants to leave, just say trade me here. I love Giannis. Giannis is one of my favorite players to watch. I was so excited when he won in 2021. I was rooting for him because he had gotten 2 MVPs. The Bucks got past the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I know Kyrie got hurt, but still, he still got past that juggernaut because they still had KD and James Harden. This was their opportunity. And I was like, I want to see Giannis win it. Giannis had the best closeout finals game to have with those 50 points. He did it the way that most people want to see it done. You stay loyal to the team that drafted you and you win that championship. But also, once you win that championship, you don't need, even though it would be nice to see you spend the rest of your career with that team, be up there with Kobe, Tim Duncan, Dirk, Magic, Steph Curry. I doubt Steph Curry is going to get traded to a different team. I think he's going to be a Warrior for life. I would love for Giannis to be one of those guys that stayed loyal to his team and stay with his team his whole career and do it the right way. But I also understand if you want to win more, and Milwaukee's just not doing it anymore, you got to demand. Listen, it's not going to be like when LeBron James went to Miami and he didn't have a championship. You got a championship. You've spent your prime there. You're approaching the end of your prime. I assume Giannis is still going to be dominant for a few years, but some players do have significant drop-offs. You want to go for it now. Try to go for it now. And look, it may not even be Ja Morant. I'm sure there's going to be other disgruntled stars out there. So I'm going to close that out. But yeah, Sean Wright and Shams both have conflicting reports because Shams claims that Giannis was not involved in this when Sean Wright says that apparently they met. By the way, not that I talk about relationships, but you hear like Klay Thompson cheated on his girlfriend. Klay Thompson cheated on Megan Thee Stallion. And he's been exposed as a serial cheater. Oh my gosh. I mean, ever since he left Golden State, he hasn't looked the same. Last couple of years with Dallas, he's just been bad. And by the way, I don't know if yes, he cheated on Megan Thee Stallion. It came out, I think it came out yesterday that he did it. It's crazy. Apparently on Instagram, she claimed he was cheating. I think they dated for a while. And by the way, Toronto just tied their series with the Cavaliers. So now the series is tied 2-2. Toronto just won it. Now both teams they need to win 2 games. Goes back to Cleveland. I'm curious because I've been too busy streaming. I haven't really been watching the game. I've just been looking up and down. I'm curious. Did James Harden choke this game? But here's the thing. I hate when anyone cheats, whether it's a guy or a girl. No one should be cheating on when they're in a relationship. Listen, if you're on that unhappy, you just break it up. I just don't get I don't get it at all. I've never gotten it. Oh my goodness. Probably go for a few more minutes, then I'll end the stream. I didn't want to make it too long. Let's see if there's any other news in sports or entertainment to share. Oh, so apparently Donovan Mitchell was trying to foul bait and it failed miserably. Oh gosh. But yeah, so I'm hope this was basically common sense and pop culture talk. This is kind of what it's going to look like, where we get to talk about movies, movie history, movie news, dunk on people that are saying stupid stuff. If there's something stupid that they said that needs to be talked about, maybe some sports news. And before I end the stream, I think if you're watching basketball, I think the Spurs Trailblazers game is up next. Yeah, it's coming on right now. Actually, it just started, I think. And Victor Wembanyama has been cleared. He's on the bench. He's all suited up. It looks like there's a timeout. San Antonio's up by 5. It's 12-7. So if you're a Wemby fan, you can sign relief. You're up 2-1. Wembanyama's back as long as you don't get hurt again. If you're a Denver Nuggets fan, though, tough luck. You're down 3-1. And I'm not saying it's impossible to come back after being down 3-1. After all, Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo are going to be out. But, man, Timberwolves, they just live rent-free in the Joker's head. Red, I don't know if you're still in the chat. I don't know if you saw last night at the end of the game or if you heard. Jaden McDaniels, like with the seconds winding down, they're already up 12 or 14 points. Makes the layup. Joker's like running after him. This is the fastest I've seen Nikola Jokic. And it looks like he's about to like attack Jaden McDaniels. Funny stuff. Like, I didn't watch the full game because I was watching Fantastic Mr. Fox last night. Great movie. The first time I watched it, I thought it was just good, but rewatching it, I enjoyed it a lot more. Okay. Yeah, because I was watching Fantastic Mr. Fox last night after the Knicks game. So after I was done, I had seen like the end of the game, and first thing I saw when I turned the TV on is Nikola Jokic with like seeing red attacking Jaden McDaniels or confronting Jaden McDaniels. Funny stuff. Joker is not having a good series against the Timberwolves. He really isn't. He's having a bit of a struggle. But then again, the Timberwolves did beat them a couple years ago in the playoffs when they were defending champions. So I don't know if that's still living rent free in his head. I really don't know. I'm still in the mindset that they should never have fired Mike Malone. Maybe that's just me, but whatever. So it's 4 o'clock. We got 2 hours in. I'm sure next time I do this, I'm gonna see if we go longer or not or shorter, depending on how much topics there are. If there's any scoops to dunk down on or scoopers. It's really the scoopers I want to dunk down on. I really don't want to expose any scoops. I only did that because, according to My Time to Shine, hello, that was the original plot before they changed it because I spoiled it. So dumb. But yeah, also share some stuff that I've done on the Movie Nerds as well. But so thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Red, for contributing to the chat, as well as Blinded. I don't know if you're still watching Blinded, but thank you for also tuning in. For anyone else that tuned in that wasn't in the chat, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to try to make this a more consistent thing on the channel. This will either be on Friday nights, Saturdays, or Sunday afternoons, this show. And as far as any movie reviews, I don't know. I'll probably do a full-on stream on the first Harry Potter, though, and all that to prepare for the upcoming series. I'll start doing that as well. But yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe if you haven't, and please share us with someone that's into talking about movie news, discussions, basketball content. And if you want to hate on scoopers, this is the right channel to go to. And anyways, I hope to see you guys real soon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have an awesome week. Take care, everyone.